Good morning to everybody from the UK. I'm delighted to make this video tutorial for the Kingsbury Garden residencies, Kira, of which I was a happy participant in 2017. It's indeed a wonderful space to be creative, and I thoroughly enjoyed my stay there, and I'm still in touch with all my friends and co-artists that I met in 2017. So I'm going to have a small attempt at trying to demystify South Indian Carnatic music, which is what I practice. Here it goes. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the system of education in South Indian classical music. It's known as the Gurukul system, or it's learning from your teacher in both the obvious, class situation as well as outside the class situation. So for example, myself and my colleagues, my co-students, we would go and see our teacher at say for example at 11 in the morning, and we would help her with household chores. Well, she'll be talking about music and the various things that she has done, how she practices, and we'll be sort of imbibing all that knowledge. Apart from the actual music, we would be also taking in a lot about her experiences and the nuances with which she dealt with practice and every other aspect of music. So that's known as the Gurukul system, where you immerse yourself completely in your teacher's life and learn from her, and it's almost like loco parentis. So that is a system that's followed even till date in Indian classical music, and I was lucky enough to have a fantastic teacher who imparted knowledge in that manner. The other distinguishing feature of classical Indian music and the vocalization of it is the singing from the diaphragm. So you don't have anything similar to Western classical singing, where you have a head voice, or your voice comes from the throat area. You sing always from the diaphragm. So as a result, you have to keep your lungs strong. You have breathing exercises and pranayama in the main, and you learn to modulate your voice in a way that doesn't affect your vocal cords. So I practice that to date, and that's the second main feature. The third aspect of music I wanted to talk about is how you decide what your key is. All Indian classical vocalists sing in a certain key. So for example, I sing on G. My key is G, which essentially means that when I travel up and down the notes, I am able to reach 4 notes below the root note and 4 notes above the top note. And that's how it's decided as to what my key is. My key is G. So for example, if you take any Indian raga, and I'll start with the basic South Indian raga that or the melody that is taught when you start classes as a South Indian classical vocal student, and this is how it goes: sa ri ga ma pa dha ni sa ni dha pa ma ga ri sa. So for every student, he or she has to reach below the lower sa. So ri sa ni da pa, and similarly up ni pa dha ni sa ri ga ma pa. So I have to be able to reach that full range of notes, and that's when my key is set. So I mostly sing in G. Of course, thankfully I have some flexibility in my voice, and I can sing a different key, but mostly singers tend to stick to the key that suits their voice best. So that's another important factor of Carnatic music, which is the shruti or the key. The third aspect is the ragam. So I just um sang one melody or the starting melody of any lessons, and that ragam was called Maya Malava Gaula. That's what Carnatic musicians first learn. There are different kinds of melodies. There are 72 main melodies, and there are many, many sub melodies. So you take a note, or you add a note, or you double a note, and the melody changes. Or even the phrase in a melody changes. So if you use a note in a certain way, the melody changes. So, for example, I'll show you two pentatonic scales. So, sa ri ga pa ni sa ni pa ga ri sa. So if I change one note, sa ri ga pa dha sa dha pa ga ri sa, so on and so forth. I mean, you have pentatonic, you have full scales, you have scales where the notes go and fold within themselves. Sa ga ri ga ma pa da pa sa. So you have the sa ga ri ga is very important. So you can't sing it in any other way. You can't have straight notes. You have to go from the sa to the ga and then come back to the ri, and so on and so forth. So there are many, many ragas. And similarly, there are many beats. You start with a simple 8-beat cycle called the Adi Talam, and the way the beats or the are counted is using your fingers and waves. So it's sa ri ga ma pa dha ni sa. So that's a simple 8-beat cycle, and there are many beat cycles like that, and also many sub cycles, as in you have single beats, double beats, triple beats, 4 beats, 5 beats, and so on, up 7 beats, 9 beats extra, all in just one beat. So you have the sub. So for example, you have 1 1 2 2 1 2 3 1 2 4 1 2 5 1 2 6 1 2 7 1 2 8 1 2, and that's just one example. So the three main elements of Carnatic music are shruti, ragam, and talam. And I think Indian music is such an ocean that I could do perhaps tutorials every day for the next year, and it will not be sufficient. So I'll take leave just with this small introduction, and I hope if anybody is interested, you can always get in touch with me. And I hope this is just a useful look into South Indian classical music. Thank you very much to Kingsbray for facilitating the tutorial. I'm delighted to be able to be a small part of this COVID tutorials that Kingsbray is promoting. Thank you. Bye.